Welcome back to Afro Cast, or welcome for the first time. It's your girl Veronica, and I'm here with Kaxi on the beat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you do?
Or yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, people. How
Okay.
y'all doing?
Good. So today you had a vanilla latte for the first time, right?
For the first time, or maybe I've had it before and then I forgot what I had.
How do you forget a vanilla latte?
You know, I'm just that guy.
Are you a coffee person in general?
I'm a coffee person.
Okay.
Regular coffee, just give me coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So, guys, it's still early in the year. How has it been treating you so far?
Steady, like the more the days go in, the more you have to understand, like, yo, we got to put in work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Every day without work is like, dog, what are you doing? You know, the year just started. You got to be on, like, gas, like full metal to the, what did they say?
Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Actually, now that we've said it, is the first time in my life it's made sense. Like you're pedaling because of like the metal, like you're riding a bike, right? Is that why it's called pedal to the metal?
You've just explained it for both of us. You know?
Woo,
So here it is,
okay.
2022, when we
Yeah.
all found out what pedal to the metal means.
Yes, it's already a good year so far.
Exactly. Speaking of pedal to the metal, maybe I could just briefly get into maybe your music plans for this year, if you don't mind
Yeah.
speaking about it. It's a very sensitive topic, maybe, but
Yeah.
like I'd like to also share with you what I'm thinking.
Okay.
In terms of artistic vision.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about your music? Like, what are you trying to do this year? How are you seeing the game?
To be honest, music is one of the things I said can wait for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that's how close it is to you, because there's that
Yeah.
sense of, dude, I need to make this perfect, you know?
I think it's even beyond perfection. It has to feel right.
Wow. Beyond perfection.
Yeah. Because I think like, okay, let's
is
say,
so dope.
I think it's different to do something for a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
a passion,
Yeah.
and a career.
Right.
For career, I think you kind of like enter this mental space of technicalities, right? Like
Yeah.
singing as a technicality. Like I know I need to eat like this. I need to drink this much amount of water. Need to practice for this much amount of minutes or hours.
Right.
And then when you're doing it for a hobby, it's just like whenever you feel like it, right?
You can just do it.
Yeah. Then when you're doing it for a passion, I feel like it's a deeper part of yourself that you actually have to like, you become refined in the process. And
That is so true.
yeah.
You know, I don't know how it translates when you're working with other people, but it's, for me as a producer especially, that drive that is required, you know, the professionalism that is required all the time is the hardest thing to tap into. You know, every time people meet me, they're expecting it. Like, yeah, no matter if they're paying me or not,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, this guy's gonna produce like this.
Yeah.
But personally, it's a really hard place to always tap into that energy, being so focused on
Yeah.
what's coming out of the speakers, making sure it really it hits you, you know? So it's like that step back for you, I guess, is what you're trying to say. Like,
Yeah, but I'm kind of curious before like I go into that. For you, what influences whether you're like in that like space where you feel I call it like alignment, which is like the sweet
It's
spot
definitely-
essentially, but like what influences, is it something that happens by chance or are there like factors that influence whether you're in that space?
I mean,
Or
most
not.
times it's about how hard I'm determined to working with whoever I'm working with, yeah? So it's really based on the synergy. Like, I'm ready to give it, but I have to make sure whoever I'm giving it to is ready to give it back.
Yeah.
You know, in terms
Yeah.
of work ethic, and like if I ask you for 1,000 takes, we're gonna have to do 1,000 takes. And if you tell me we can do 1,000 takes, man, we're gonna do it. Like, I'm really looking for someone else who's gonna understand that, yo, this shit is hard, but like I'm willing to be patient. And so all that really helps me to align my mental, you know, because if someone is gonna be in the studio on some, yo, just make a beat real quick, I'm like, nah, dude, the pressure is not worth it for me. I'd rather slow down and let my mind come to it.
When you say depends on like whether that energy is being mirrored back to you. So if hypothetically you are on an island for 1 year and you were only like your only option was to produce music for yourself or not to produce at all, do you think you'd have the motivation to produce still? Or is it like driven by doing something for people? Like,
I'll produce still.
yeah.
Definitely, because I can't wait for someone to come to me. I'll just keep making beats.
Okay.
And yeah, because music is really about like what you put out, and then if someone hears it, they put out something, it adds to the whole vibe, you know? Like building blocks. So the creativity has to like go in a sort of like it's like a relationship somehow. You know, you can do it by yourself, but like yeah, there's an extent. I like vocals, you know?
Yeah.
I like when someone harmonizes, like those breathy vocals. I love vocals. Like,
Yeah.
you know, a song is just really about the feeling, and vocals invoke the most feeling when it comes to making music. So, yeah, I just like being around the creative people. You know, it really helps.
Okay. So thank you for sharing. To answer your question, my plans for music. Y'all, sorry for that like whole detour, but we're back. But yeah, so my plans. I want to feel everything I create, which sometimes I'm just like, let me just do the thing. But now I'm for real like, yeah, I want to feel it. And I think I don't know if I told you this before, but it's like sometimes you have an idea of what you should sound like, leave alone what you actually sound like. But it's like, I should sound like this. And it's funny, like even sometimes when I'm writing a song, I imagine like which artist would be singing it, and I try to sing like them. And it really throws me off because I don't sound like them. And so then I don't enjoy that process.
Definitely. The standards and everything.
Yeah. So trying to get to a space where removing the expectations of what it should be and tap into what it is. What I'm trying to say and if it's worth saying. Because like there are things like kind of like, I don't know, I kind of connect that to social media too. There are things you want to share, and the things that it's like, I figured this out and it's cool. The world doesn't need to know about it. Yeah. So that's kind of the process this year is going to be like for me musically.
Right.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of experimenting with the feels and vibes, maybe, like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I imagine you're gonna do a wide range of sounds before you actually decide, you know.
Yes, sir.
I heard a few demos, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know, it's just very interesting what we all go through to find ourselves.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, we spoke about this yesterday. Like the reason I put out my beats no matter what or how old they are, like it's because I didn't make that beat so it just stays on the laptop and nobody ever hears it. If I do that, I just fall into that bracket of, well, 1,000 beats made, but how many beats have you actually put out? Like, you know? So yeah, like whatever happens or whatever needs to happen to, you know, for your alignment to come through, like it's just, we have to take our time with it. Because at the end of the day, you have the final say over who you are, you know?
Yeah.
As much as the environment can determine certain things, but like, yeah, you tell the world what you want to do and we'll just be waiting for you, you know? Aside from the music though, you know, what are you thinking about generally like content production and the arts? Like, is there anything else you're trying to, you know, impress yourself upon in a more stronger way than
for sure,
like
okay, you know, we're just gonna go into like some whole philosophical stuff again.
It's okay, I'm trying
you and me combined is just
trust me, it's Plato and who?
Wait, who and who?
Plato and Pythagoras. Obviously they're way light years ahead of us, but I'm just like,
so I was thinking about this today. Okay, so as you know, like for me in the past, I would say 3 weeks, like,
oh my god, that vanilla.
Okay, I'm glad you liked it.
3 weeks.
3 weeks ago, about maybe almost a month. As you know, like exercise became something like really important for me. And it stemmed honestly from a place of control, not even necessarily like I wanted to look a certain way. But I was just like, I need to control how I'm feeling and how I see myself.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like reflecting on myself. And I think I'm a person who like, I firstly need to like have respect for myself before I can even like think about connecting with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the things. And also just, of course, like expression and just having a different relationship with my body as well. So then as I was working out like this week, I started thinking about like how I like see my body, how I judge my body. And I was like, that's interesting that we're taught to care about certain things. Like think about, you know what I mean? Like if you, because I don't know, I used to think about like back then when people lived like in villages and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe there wasn't like as much access to mirrors. So you
Definitely.
probably didn't see yourself as
You
frequently.
don't see yourself.
Yeah. But so maybe the things you didn't care about. Or maybe like being a woman is about something different. Maybe it was more connected to tradition
Yes.
than to how you look.
It's more how you feel, maybe.
Possibly, who knows? You know,
It's definitely how you
Yeah.
feel. Like, you know, before you walk out the door, as soon as
Yeah.
you're done dressing. Let me tell you a funny story. You said
Yeah.
that, like, about the mirrors.
Yeah.
When we moved into our new house back in my country, back home,
Which is where?
Malawi, my dad forgot to put mirrors in the house. He had mirrors in his room,
Yeah.
but in the rest of the house, like, he completely forgot. So, man, I come back from school,
Yeah.
like, and I'm going back home, and I don't notice that there's no mirrors anywhere.
Okay.
So the first day it
How
was
old were you?
weird.
Sorry.
This is just like 3 years ago,
What?
2018,
Okay.
when I went back home.
Yeah.
And like I wake up the first day, okay, I'm going to shower. I'm trying to look for a mirror. I can't find it. It's
Yeah.
okay. I have to go use like something in the living room that has a reflection.
Wow.
And then the next day, I don't even do that whole living room thing. I just
Yeah.
wake up and go out. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I don't actually need a mirror because it's more how you feel. Like
Stop.
it was so dope because I felt great. I felt so good not having
Yeah.
to look in the mirror
Yeah.
to check if I'm looking good or
Yeah.
none of that. Like none of that. You just get up, you dress up, and you go, and you don't judge yourself when you're with other people.
Yeah.
Because you didn't look in the mirror. So yeah, that's like, you know, that thing of
Snap.
feeling. It was amazing. It is amazing. I don't even have a mirror right now where I'm like for real.
Yeah. Okay, that's like mind blowing to me. I went through this rabbit hole. No, I guess I'm just sharing everything I've been reflecting over the past month or
Amazing.
so.
Feed us your mind. What is it? Tell us.
So I was reflecting. Okay, I had a situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if attention with a person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is really frustrating me. And you know, like how like when I don't know if you found yourself in a pattern of consistent conflict with a person, and you're like, this is frustrating. So I was like, okay, I feel like I don't want to keep talking about this because then I feel like I'm becoming negative, and also I don't want to like be the person who like points out other people's flaws. I was like, okay, but at the same time, I need to like what is the word? Process what's going on.
Yes.
And so I'm like, I should journal. And I sit down and I try and write the story. And I'm like, I feel like they think this about me. And then mid-sentence, I realized there was no reason why I thought that they thought that.
Yeah.
So then I realized that was actually my insecurity that I had projected onto them.
Definitely.
So going back to like the looks thing, yeah, you have a thought that people see you a certain way.
Yes.
So you project that onto them, that they think that. So you're already on the defense for an imagined situation in your mind. And now that energy causes them to... most people are reactive, if we're being honest.
So what you're telling me is, if you wake up and you got a pimple on your face and you didn't see it,
Okay.
you're going to go out there with no fear of what's on your face, right?
Someone, in the beginning, no. Until someone says something, if they say something.
But if you didn't see it,
you have no idea.
But if you saw it in the morning, you're
Yeah.
going out there with those insecurities.
Yeah, yeah.
Ready for someone.
Yeah.
Like ready to reply at someone who's going to say, yo, there's a... I'm like, yeah, goddammit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing you're telling me. Like
Yeah.
the insecurities you project onto like... It's like the world is your mirror too, you know?
Ooh, look at
You know?
that wordplay there. Okay.
The world is your mirror.
Yeah.
You know, the people
Yeah.
you're with are a representation of you. And so what you're trying to tell me is like don't compare yourself, because it's like you're judging yourself first, and you're gonna project that insecurity when someone else kind of says something which they didn't even mean to say, or I was just
Yeah.
feeling that after you said about reflection, and
Yes, to that. Although I would go deeper, I would say it's kind of like, I don't even know. Okay, I personally haven't applied that discipline, but imagine like if you every day you started blank, no expectations.
yeah,
So every negative experience, like you have no expectation it'll happen again. Not in
Yeah.
like a naive, like I won't be careful kind of way,
yeah,
but just like I don't know you, therefore I have no expectations
no
for how you're going to
expectation.
behave.
Definitely.
That like imagine how that like I feel like it reboots your experiences and whatever cycles you're in. But also like if someone, that's what I was saying, most people are reactive. If we're being honest, someone gives you an attitude, your first instinct is like you kind of want to check them, not necessarily be aggressive, but it's like I don't know, very few people are able to get into this space in the moment where they can be like, what you did has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
I don't like I think it's pretty rare.
yeah.
But that's like the space I'm trying to
I
get
think
into.
that's like the more mature and
Yeah.
sense, like the guys who are like what you call reason. It's not really logic, but it's like
Yeah,
reason. They
yeah.
understand like, okay,
Yeah.
there's things I can control and there's things I can't control.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
So, like, I
Yeah.
think if anything, those are the kind of not role models, but like it's good to have such a low expectation on people,
Yeah.
because it also helps you
Yeah.
improve what to expect from yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting expectations on people, you're putting a weight on yourself. If those expectations are not met,
Yeah.
you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But by taking off their expectations, by putting everything on you and what you expect of yourself, I think it's you become the bigger man.
Yeah. Words of wisdom. Yeah, and also just the realization that I think 99.99% of the time, other people's behavior, words, actions actually have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, like a perfect person can't do anything imperfect. So for someone to do anything imperfect to you, it's because of their imperfection, right?
Definitely.
Not to say like go provoking people and be like, it has nothing to do with me, But at the end of the day, like I think last episode we talked about how scary it is that sometimes life really is just choice. You can literally choose to, like you can choose to be offended. And that's something I learned. Like offense is like something you pick up. It's like, do you want this or not? And I
Yeah.
feel like most of the times I'm readily, the past me ready to like be like, yeah, I want to be offended. I want to be really offended,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember this quote. It's like a piece from the book, The Gospel of Thomas. I was supposed to ask you about it. You've actually not read this, have you? The Gospel of Thomas.
Oh, I thought you were gonna bring me a copy.
No, I have it here.
Oh, okay.
But there's a part where Jesus says, first of all, the Gospel of Thomas is like a compilation of verses and phrases that Jesus spoke, but the book itself never made it to the Bible. And Jesus specifically says one thing in that book that captured my interest. What we're talking about today is like, look not for yourself in the world, but look for the world in yourself. Okay? We tend to be externally motivated human beings. Like we want what's out there to determine what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But the book, Jesus says, you have to find yourself. Find the world that is inside of you. Back on the reflections and the mirror thing, it's like we really do spend a lot of time judging ourselves because of who we think we are in the eyes of others. That's looking for yourself in the world. Because this guy walks like this, I must be like him. Nah, y'all guys just walk the same. Maybe you don't even walk the same. You think you walk the same, and there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Because you think you walk the same, it's not a fact. So the introspection is far more important, and the quiet and silence that you spend with yourself You know, when someone offends you, when you're quiet, like don't respond immediately. Just take time to understand that it's them who's not, you know,
Yeah.
it's not really you, you know. Yeah, just thought I could add on that is that like the
Yeah.
power is finding the world in yourself. You know,
Yeah.
more and more, I personally have been on this journey for a long time, just understanding what it means to find yourself. You know, know thyself, and you really know yourself when you're like not alone, but like when you've been operating in a free like free fall, like not fall, but like when your creativity is not limited. You know, creativity and how you want to live, how you want to. I think that's where we truly get to, you know, aside from actually assuming responsibilities, because there's responsibilities that show you who you're capable of being. So when you combine the both, I feel like that's where, like, you know, real magic happens. You know, when people just become aligned with their self, it's like one of the most golden things, you know, we could ever ask for. And being a new year and, you know, new vibes and everything, I feel like that's the one thing we must always think about is to never forget yourself. You know, what you think matters. Even though you ain't trying to say it, you didn't have the courage to say it in the room, but like, yo, like you matter a lot to yourself and to the people, you know. Because think about it this way, people who've truly found themselves are the people who effect the most change in the world. Because they speak from us, like their soul and spirit, where the soul and spirit have combined, the body, you see it, you see the aura, you see the energy, like, yo, this person is so in tune with themselves, you know. So it's like golden to really not think or care about what other people think. It's almost sounds a bit shrewd because, you know, there's that attitude of, oh, I don't care what people think about me, but it's like I really do not care because it's really about what I have to bring to the table, you know.
And I think also the whole not caring what people think, I think it should be a result of the contents of your thoughts in the sense that, like, okay, so I used to struggle a lot with anxiety, all kinds of anxiety, social anxiety. Even by myself, I could be anxious, just things that I didn't even know why I was anxious about.
Reminds me of high school.
Yeah,
man, let's go.
Yeah, I want to hear about that though. But so I started doing like this workbook thing, and they were talking about like when you're anxious, there's usually thoughts that are going through your mind, right?
Yeah.
So if you're like for me, like social anxiety, before I have felt the feeling of anxiety, I have had the thought of either a fear of embarrassment, a fear of rejection, a fear that I wouldn't know what to say, a fear that I'm inadequate. So it's like thoughts that happen, and maybe you've thought them so much, or the thought is deep enough that it starts to impact your emotions.
Definitely.
Yeah, or the frequency, whatever. And so then there's a technique where you kind of, I don't know what to call it. Is it like short-circuited? So you cut off that process of the thought.
Like hardwiring yourself.
Yeah. Because if you change the thought, then there's nothing to feed the feeling anymore, right? So you don't change the thought by fighting it, by saying, I shouldn't care what they think about me, but you short-circuit it by not thinking about what they think. In other words, you change the content of your mind. You fill up your mind with so many other thoughts that there's no room for those, negative thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, like that whole not caring, I think it's not a result of like undermining other people's contribution to your life, but I think it's in terms of a ratio of what's the content of what's going through your mind. Yeah.
I mean, after all, you are what you think, you know.
Yeah.
And if you think insecurities like even 2% of the day, man, like that's not even good.
Yeah.
Like, because it's gonna affect your general, aura. And
yeah.
So yeah, like that hardwiring and that manual resetting that you're talking about is really the power to life, There's two parts of your body, your conscious and your subconscious. your conscious is the smartest thing in the world, but your subconscious is the actual thing that makes everything happen.
Because
So-
your mind can't think about everything you're doing all of the
No.
time, so you need the subconscious.
You need the subconscious to kind of take over certain
Yeah.
processes in the background, you
Yeah.
know, like motivating you to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you get in the loop enough, you don't even have to feel motivated. You just wake
You
up.
just
and
do it. Yeah, that's what I mean right now. Yeah.
So there's always that thing of, you know, you have to listen to your consciousness enough just to make it through all these tough situations. You know, it's the commander. Your brain is like a boat, a ship. The captain is the conscious and the crew are the subconscious. If the captain says, hey, nobody's overthinking anything, the crew is gonna listen. But it's exactly what you said about don't think about what they thinking of. You have to tell the captain, yo, don't look at that part of the ocean. Let's go this other. And just tell the captain this is what it is. And automatically, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but your body will just switch.
Yeah.
The emotion, because the emotion is what's in your body.
Yeah.
The thought is not really in your body
Yeah.
until the emotion kicks in.
Yeah.
So it takes maybe even 5 minutes, but yo, lo and behold, it goes away, you know?
Yeah.
So the power is in your consciousness. Really not thinking about it is where it really is, because your subconscious will pick it up so fast, you know?
Yeah. And I think the key to, just to add on to what you've really said really well, for me, I honestly never thought I could change. Like, I can't even describe how, like, my mind state was. Maybe someday I'll go into depth about that.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if you've ever been in a place where you actually feel, like, powerless. Like, I actually don't think I can be a different person. And for me, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like, have you ever hula hooped before?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Oh, you said that really excited. And, you know, no judgment. But, you know, like, how before, like, you become consistent, like, this momentum you have to build. You have to have, like, just the right amount of, like, energy and power in your waist. And it has to, like, I don't know, like, the way it goes around, like, your body has to, like, move with it at the right time.
Yeah.
And then once you get into it, it just flows. You know,
Yeah.
you don't even have to try anymore. It's
It's
like
like
you're
a
just
gear, you
standing.
have to engage somehow.
Yeah.
If you're not engaged in it, doesn't matter how much you pep yourself
Yeah.
up, you're not going to get out of it.
And if you start and stop, it's worse.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps
That
falling
reminds
down.
me so much of, I only did like maybe two presentations max in college.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, like maybe 3 if I'm pushing it. I hated speaking in front of the class.
Public speaking, yeah.
I had everything. I had the facts, man. Like, I'm the guy who's gonna do the assignment.
Yeah.
And when it's time to, I'm like, yo, guys, I did the whole thing. All
Yeah.
right, you guys are gonna present, because I couldn't engage that gear of confidence. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, the body, is it the self or the ego? One of them was.
One of you guys.
One of the guys was
Yeah,
like, nah,
one of
G,
them
we
guys.
can't do this. Like, dude, no way. Like, get out, leave now. In fact, the more groups they keep calling,
Yeah.
like, why are you still here, Caxi? You've
Yeah.
done this shit, go.
Yeah.
So yeah, because of that, I only got to do like 3 presentations max. They were not bad, but I'm like, the moments before that are so hard to control. Like,
Yeah.
dude, calm down, I don't know what that's about, but it's definitely those gears, because there's times I've been in a gear and I feel confident to speak,
Yeah.
but most times I'm like, just, you know.
I have a theory.
I have a theory too, but let me hear yours.
No, okay, you go first because you're in a flow.
My theory is practice. Had I practiced enough,
Okay.
my subconscious would have picked it up.
Yeah.
But I never practice. You actually have to practice.
So basically, you have to get to a point where you no longer have to think about doing it, especially in an anxious
moment
state.
you have
Yeah.
to think, what am I going to say? How am I going to act? Yeah, you're doomed.
So it's what you do behind closed doors.
It's
before,
what you do
yeah.
before that. you know.
Yeah. I have a theory. That's funny. It's so funny you mentioned that because okay, not funny. It happened to me in college, and it was an exam. I was like in a publics because I was doing communications at the time.
Yeah.
Before I switched to film, and one of the classes was to do like a speech.
Yeah.
And on that last whatever exam it was, I was so overcome by anxiety. I left the room, and then I think like 2 days later or something, I emailed the professor. I couldn't even go to their office. That's how much anxiety I had. And I was like, I couldn't do the presentation. Can I do a redo?
Yeah.
And she was like, sorry, like you missed it. And that was like a really huge weight of the exam.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was actually seeing like a school therapist. So I had to go through a whole process of showing I've been working through this.
Yeah.
And that's the only time she gave me a second chance. And then I redid the speech.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fast forward to last year, I went skydiving for the first time. And I like on our way up
2021?
there. Yeah.
Okay.
2021. And there was a girl that came back because like, you know how you enter the helicopter?
Yeah.
She couldn't jump off. Like she was that anxious. And so I like at first I was like, I don't want that to happen to me. I've paid like hundreds of dollars
just to do this.
I'm not coming back, and I don't think you get your money back. So I'm like,
first off, was it the skydiving where you're tied to another guy, or it's just like you're solo, like do it yourself?
tied to another guy. You can't go on your own because like
there's levels.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember saying when she came back down, I was like, okay, this is the only chance I get to reframe what I'm feeling. So I started telling myself, I'm not afraid, I'm excited.
Wow.
I'm not, the whole way there, I was like, I'm not afraid, I'm excited. I'm not afraid, I'm excited. Yeah. And I jumped.
But it tied to the other guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I can't imagine.
Yeah. And it was so crazy because like the first 10 seconds are the hardest. Because number one, your body has never felt like that. There's nothing kaxy to hold on to. I can't tell you how much I hate the idea of no control. Like there's nothing, rock climbing, you know, you can hold on to a rock,
you
yeah?
can chill somewhere.
Most things, there's something I can chill somewhere. I'm done. Yeah, but like
skydiving is not like that.
it's nothing you can do to speed
like
up nor slow down the process. You can't go back.
Those are the biggest fears in our lives. You know, that they could be termed like skydiving. You know?
Yeah.
We're only scared of them because we can't control them. You know, you can't control what happens after you do it. You can't control it. So
yeah.
So tell me.
Yeah.
That
okay,
speech really got you to doing it. Like even seconds before you jumped.
Yeah.
How did you feel like 2 seconds before you jumped?
I'm telling you, the whole time I had to control my thoughts. That's all. That was my only thing. I wasn't even like, oh, have fun. No, I was like, control. Because if you allow yourself to get into a state of fear or panic, that's it. Because that influences you. But okay, at least for me, I don't know what it is for you. But you know how there's flight, fight, or freeze. I don't know. I felt like I shrugged, but I didn't.
Fight, flight. It's a hard one.
Yeah. So for me, my natural inclination is freeze. Yeah. I don't know, like what. Yeah.
It's definitely it. That's the stuff that makes legends. Let me tell you it's a vibration. It's a frequency. That fear, that moment of it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
So it's a frequency, and that is the frequency that the greats take advantage of. The moments that everybody else fears is the moment they wanna, like, let me show you guys how to do this.
Yeah.
I've had friends who are like daredevils. You know, they'll do it because you're scared to do it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do it because they want to do it.
Only
because
funny.
You're scared of doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like that too, like depending on what we're doing, you know?
Yeah.
If it's something I'm way too experienced in, I'm just gonna show guys like, yo, why are you guys scared of this?
Yeah.
So that frequency, it's worth mastering.
I think so. And that should make it possible. I didn't even think that was possible, to be honest.
You know, fear is looked at as the darkness of man. Like when they say the man is in darkness or the fall of man, fear is one of those things in the realm of darkness. Okay? Because if you think about it, a man who's scared of poverty, or a man who's scared of dying, or a man who's scared, they all have one thing in common. They're scared of something.
Yeah.
You know, once you put fear, it means you're not believing in yourself. Once you allow fear to take over your thoughts, it means you're not believing it. You're not. In that moment, you don't even think anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
So fear is the fetter that binds man to darkness. It's the chain. But it's like the lightest chain. It's not even exist. It doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Right? like if you think about it, fear is not a thing you can hold, you know.
Yeah.
But yet it's one of the heaviest elements in the world, you know, that really differentiate and separate who from who, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the small mundane tasks of life, like me as a producer, there's fear to not going to studio and making 12
Yeah.
beats a day.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dude, you make 12 beats a day? Like if someone came in and found me on beat number 12,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they'll look at me like, hey, dog, okay. You know, there's that fear to our craft too. You probably have some fears.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
So there's that level of rising over it.
Yeah.
So that the person in you can stand out. And that's the reason we applaud all these people who've gone above and beyond, because they conquered their fears. Really,
Yeah.
it's just the fear we're
I think
conquering.
so.
You know?
Yeah.
The will is there. The will is always there. Will is there when you're not scared. When you're in your room comfortable and nothing's happening,
Yeah.
that's when you feel like doing everything the most.
Yeah.
But when you're about to do those things, it's when you're like, oh shit, by the way, you know? So yeah, channeling and fighting fear, like conquering fear is something that we definitely have to put efforts in, you know?
Yeah.
Because, one thing I learned about life is when you conquer a battle in one area of your life, you probably conquered like 5 other battles subconsciously
Yeah.
without even knowing
For
it.
sure.
You know? So even like you doing this fitness thing, it keeps you on so many different levels of
Yeah.
energy. You know, you put in the work. So everywhere else
Yeah.
you go, you're probably gonna put in the work.
Yeah.
It's that law
Absolutely.
of duality, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's threefold, tenfold, you know how the story goes. But what happens is every new habit a human being gets into comes with its cousins. Fitness has so many relatives. The moment you hit the gym, bro, you might have to do shake, or you might have to do nutrition, or you might have
Which is what I'm doing
the
now.
cousins.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, every habit.
Yeah.
Drinking water has its cousins.
Yeah.
You know, you have to piss, or you might be dehydrated later. Every single habit we get into has its cousins, even the good ones. Reading hard level books, like you're reading who? I can't think of an author, but I'm like, beyond Napoleon Hill, all these thick like motivators, but like there's that A level, you know, knowledge or books that are out there, and you read them, they come with their cousins too, you know. Like, shouldn't be scared of getting into things because we don't know what we're missing out on, you know. Hard work in one area definitely brings results, you know. We don't have to see it, but I know for a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really add to that. I think that was well said.
But yeah, like aside from that, like the best thing I could like maybe leave off today is fear is not our master. You know? Like I'm a guy who likes to play with my willpower and my mindset. So I give myself challenges and whatnot. And this year I think one of them is gonna be running all these channels and the work that I'm doing. And I know I have to do it, because the moment I decide not to do it, I'm letting fear lead. You know, the only reason someone wouldn't put out work or work hard is because they're scared of something. I really don't know what we're scared of. You know, hard work is a beast. But, you know, whether people are scared about it or not, I don't know, you know.
I think for me, possibly, besides the fear of not even failure, I think sometimes there's a fear of discovering your limits. That's one. But I think there's also a fear of limitlessness, in the sense that because I believe one's reality is shaped by their mind.
Yeah.
Do you know how much responsibility that is? It literally means the difference between where I am and the life I want to live is my mind.
Yeah.
The reason you can't hold a conversation with certain kinds of people, your mind, the things you think about. the reason you find some things challenging is because of
man.
how you think.
Yeah.
It just comes down to your mind. And for me, I find that so overwhelming.
Right.
I think maybe because I'm used to limits. I'm used to a reason why I can't do it. So now if I can do it, that means there's so much more I'm supposed to do. And that's overwhelming. So I would rather just go back to being comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to decline, and not decline, but to fall into that comfort, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you're comfortable, you're not scared.
Yeah.
And we tend
Yeah, that's true.
we tend to now, majority of society tends to lean on comfort. You know, we're subconsciously working for comfort. We're not working for not survival even. We're not working for greatness. We're working for comfort. Yes, work hard, go to school, but are we working hard for greatness, or are we working hard to be comfortable?
Comfortable, yeah.
You know?
And predictable and
Predictable
yeah.
and average. Not saying there's anything bad with any of that, because you
Yeah.
gotta be average before you could move on to the next level. But like, I feel like we work harder just to maintain
Yeah.
comfort, and
Yeah.
like, that's never been me.
But haven't you noticed also how like there's something isolating about trying harder and pushing your limits? Like for me, the more I like step into like this new space I'm in now, the harder it is to hold certain conversations.
Yeah.
They're just, you know, and that's isolating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I think now over time you now start meeting people who think similarly. But I think the more you keep going higher and higher into that space, or deeper and deeper, however you want to see it,
Yeah.
I think that pool keeps becoming smaller and smaller and smaller because fewer and fewer people are doing that.
You definitely gravitate towards, you know, the frequency. Honestly, the frequencies do not lie. Like you are who you surround yourself by. And before you even surround yourself by those people, who you are determines who you're going to surround yourself by. You know, it's the duality I'm telling you about. So it's you know, it's definitely something, you know.
So in short, we should be careful about who we spend our time with, but also begin, as you said, the whole thing of the world within yourself, because once you know who you are, it's easier to know who is for you and who you vibe with.
Honestly, because you'd rather be in a place where you're celebrated than being tolerated. Do you know being tolerated is the worst thing ever? Like, you're there just because of something else, but not really because of why you're here. Like, you could be there, but guys are just like, he's our cousin. We have to chill with him. Like, he's our cousin, bro. Just don't. You don't want to be there.
Fam.
You want to be the guy like, oh shit, he's coming. You guys is coming. Yo, that guy is coming.
Yeah. Like
that person is coming.
Yeah.
Oh shit, they're here. That's what you want. You don't want to be, man, how's it? See, you know where everything is. Just go.
Yo.
Go where your spirit shines brighter and your being is not being tolerated.
Yeah.
Honestly, you don't want to be tolerated.
Yeah.
Once you start feeling like that, yo, trust me, man, you're already on different vibrations with whoever you're around.
It really messes with your self-esteem too, like your self-confidence.
Yeah, you feel like, who am I? Why am I not like them? But really,
exactly.
it's like,
once you get into that,
you know, if people, I understand we're all different. I can have a conversation with anybody, bus conductor, anyone, because I'm willing to be open in any situation. But once I see that this other person is not understanding that I'm just being open for the sake of we're here, it's hard, because they start to judge you and think that's who you are for real. You know, you've just opened up, say, okay, you know what? Let me see if I can tap in.
Yeah.
And then they start confusing or mistaking you, and then, you know.
Yeah.
It's not the place to be either. You really want to be in a place where, like, you're not being judged.
Yeah.
Yo.
Relationships are hard. Socializing is hard. Yeah. But the more sure you are of yourself, the more, how can I say, the more things in yourself you work through, the less you are bothered by how people see you. Like, if you've overcome, like, especially, I see a lot of, like, you know, those introvert memes and stuff. Yeah. Like, when you become content to that side of you of, I don't want to be around people all the time. When you're content to that, it doesn't matter if people make fun of you. Like, or just gonna stay home and read, like you're like, yeah, actually that sounds amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you de-weaponize and
Things
weaponize
don't
whatever.
offend you
Yeah.
anymore. Like I can see myself. I see myself go through those like transitions when people are making plans to go out and I'm not even in that convo. Like I'm like, what, dude, Kaxi, you've changed.
Wait, have you seen this meme? So it's like, okay, so it's 3 chairs, yeah? So 2 people are on the chairs, yeah? And then the other thing is a chair, and then the arms is like human arms. So it's like when you're in the conversation, but not a part of the conversation.
You're just a
So
chair.
it's like the chair.
You're just a chair there, just sitting there. Yeah.
Whew.
It tends to happen a lot when you're in your own space, to be honest.
Yeah. But I think that space is also necessary, and it doesn't make sense until you actually do the thing fully. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, there you have it. Thank you for joining us again on today's podcast. This is the Afro Cast. Remember to subscribe, turn on your notifications and comment what you think about the podcast, what you like, what you'd like to hear. Me and Veronica are still with you guys. Looking forward to sharing more.
And that's on that.
Right?
Have a good week, guys.
Peace.